Welcome to What the Hell. Today, what we're going to go over is we're just going to spitball stuff and go over what we want the show to do. And we kind of.
To quote Lucifer, so, David, tell me, what is it that you really desire? That's a great show. Come on.
That is a great show. But no, what we're going to go over is basically of what our shows are actually about, because we really never did an introduction. I've never really done an introduction because I started this probably, I would say, a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
and I was doing spots, and this year is basically the first year I've actually I have an actual host that actually wants to do it every week and enjoys it and looks forward to it, which I really hadn't had. And I have a person that's willing to go forth and uh, bring the gospel, I guess, so to speak, and whatnot.
Right.
And I
Preach
got
from upon high.
I got so lucky with you, buddy, because a lot of the people that I had on here didn't me and them didn't melt all too much.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was one of my best friends, it really didn't melt that much. But like we just did an episode for psychos and sociopaths, and we just went over stuff that we thought would be beneficial for people. That's one thing I want for these shows, and the whole thing of me actually starting this one, it wasn't financial. It was literally I wanted to give something for my own child that she can look back on, and if God forbid, if I die or something like that, and if she didn't think she knew her father, she can go up on YouTube and look of all the craziness and stuff that I was talking about, or stuff that I found interesting that week.
Yeah, it's just like my kids, dude. I mean, my kids think it's cool, that my dad's got a podcast. My dad's on YouTube, like, oh, crap, my dad's on Spotify. Like, what? For me, it's an outlet. It gives me something, like you said, something to look forward to during the week. And, it's kind of it's a venue for me just to kind of vent at points.
Well, it's also for me, it's meeting and talking with interesting people.
Yeah.
Even people that I didn't think I would actually that conversation, like one of our super fans. I call her super fan. I went the due diligence, and you say you're gonna do it. I did it before you.
You turned on the badges?
Yeah, I turned on the badge, and she has her own badge. She's the super fan.
Nice.
So, anytime if she messages anything on the Facebook page or anything, she's indicated as the super fan.
Hopefully the super fan will not be profiled on our psychos and sociopaths episodes. I'm looking at you, Maria.
That's my biggest worry.
She's a quality human being. Let me get that out there, because I mean she's a quality human being. I've known her for, oh my God, I brought this up the other day, or a couple of weeks, or about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, when I talked to her last, talked to her. It was we've known each other for 27, 28 years. And she's like, shut your whore mouth. Like, she's like, it's not wanting to date ourselves, kind of a thing. It's like, and I got to thinking about it. I was like, holy crap, dude. We have known each other a long time.
That's most of my friends too.
See, because I didn't have that luxury, growing up. I mean, I've got one or two friends that I've been friends with since the 90s, and they both live in Washington State. And, they're kind of like, I mean, at this point, they're both like sisters kind of a thing. And, but past that, you know, it's just, it's not anybody that I've like, I can say, yeah, if we were to meet up, we could go out running around and, you know, causing trouble kind of a thing. But it's, you know, because I grew up a military brat. I grew up a Navy brat.
Yeah, we both did.
You know, and so, you know, in our life kind of like it involved a lot of moving. And, you know, as a kid, it sucked because, you know, we were just like, what? Why do I have to move again? But then later on in our lives, when we became adults and we joined the military ourselves and realized this is part of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that, you know, it's needs of the Army, needs of the Air Force, needs of the Navy, you know, it's needs of whatever branch we joined. And then you kind of understood it. And it's like, oh, crap, you know.
I only have one friend that I've known since elementary school. Well, no, scratch that. Two friends. One I don't talk to all too much. Well, both of them I don't talk to all too much, but we still visit each other when we get a chance. But most, like, the people in those guys that we message each other, that's a group and everything, which we can't put on Facebook. Some of the stuff that we talk about.
Right. Those are the
Ever.
things. Those are the
It's
things.
one of those TED 2 moments to where we'd have to like destroy the laptop, then we'd actually dump it into the ocean.
And then come back every couple of weeks just to check on it. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, what the fuck is this? What? There is so much porn on this computer. It's like chicks with dicks. There's no such thing as just dudes with tits. It's like, you know what? I wanted to get caught.
Oh God, we are degenerate. Just bringing that up, and me right, sorry, me right now going with people and just saying, that just goes wholeheartedly of that one Facebook group.
That's why when you introduced me and you brought me into that group, I had to introduce myself strong, dude. I put that meme up
What
there.
did you-
It was the mask meme, right, from the movie, and it was the caption on it was when you finally man up and eat her ass, but realize you got a peanut allergy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, because I've got a ton of those like Hitler memes. You know, it's like why isn't Hitler allowed to cook at the barbecues anymore? And it's because he's always burning the Franks. You know, and stuff like I've got memed like that. You know, one is a picture of just somebody's load, right? And it says we all started out as the same color, end racism. You know, it's a dank ass meme, dude, but it's got a wholesome message to it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're like, I want to laugh, but God, that's wholesome. You know, and I'm not embarrassed either. No, I ain't embarrassed at all.
Not one bit.
But you know, for me, when I look forward, I plan my week around it, and you know, like for example, I was out of town last week, and we did that episode of was it a what the hell, or was it a Psychos and Sociopaths?
It was Psychos and Sociopaths.
That's right. Yeah, we had to shoot the Kaylee Anthony one. Yeah, that's right. Or
Again.
Casey Anthony. Yeah, but you know, we plan those contingencies in it. You know, and it's like, okay, well, this came up, so can we do it tomorrow night? And you're like, yeah, that'll work too. But we always make it a point to get those episodes filmed, and it was just a chance for us to kind of wrap that there. And for me, that was a cool experience. You know, just to be able to say, you know, like, okay, now we've added this extra dimension to the show, and you know, and it's not like we've got that high production value or you know anything like that. I mean, even the shows that have that really high production value, like Donald Faison and Zach Braff, they've got that Fake Doctors Real Friends show where they rewatch all the episodes of Scrubs and they give a behind the scenes take on that episode. It's if you've ever watched the show Scrubs or you're a fan of the show Scrubs, that's a cool podcast to listen to.
I honestly stopped watching sitcoms.
Well, I mean, because like Scrubs in like the early 2000s, man, it was like, dude, that was the show. And my ex-wife would always get irritated because anytime I started to get that like I'm trying to fixing to tell somebody off, she always called me Dr. Cox because it was like, well, it really doesn't kind of work that way, Barbie, but you can go ahead and keep thinking that if it's really working for you there. And it was just like, but Scrubs for me, I love that show. When they were doing the next group of, interns, I could have done without that, but it, getting back to the point was that even though we were geographically not close enough to, come into the studio, we were able to do that via Skype, and
It's kind of a load off that you can still do it.
yeah, because it's like, well, I want to get out of town. I want to take a little bit of a vacation because I took my boys out there straight up. It's just, hey, look, I take them to the beach, took them to Johnson Space Center, took everybody to an Astros game, and it's just a week of activities that we wouldn't otherwise get to do, and plus we got to kind of relax. And the boys, my boys got to experience a lot of things that they haven't been able to do before, like go to the beach, like actually play in the ocean. So that was cool for them, even though they got sunburned. I felt bad about it. I doubled up on their sunscreen and their sunblock, but that just the fact that they spent so much time in the water that it was overcast that day, and if it's overcast, you burn like crazy.
I don't know what is that.
It's the UV coming through the clouds. That's the only thing I can think of, but.
Well, it's kind of a prism thing with the water, I guess.
Well, yeah, but the water's more reflective. If they'd have stayed on shore, it wouldn't have been as bad. But like my 12-year-old, I bought him a bigger bodyboard, right? The boogie boards. He figured out how to ride waves.
Okay.
On them, and then when he caught his first one, he's like, "Yeah!" He stuck his hand up. And he's like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's like, I was like, come in because I need to put more sunblock on you. He's like, one more wave. And I'm like, I stood there with my arms crossed. I was your stereotypical dad standing on the shore, going, we need to come, you need to come in here now, kind of a thing. And
you should have just go right ahead. But as soon as you burst into flames like that monk in Vietnam, I'm going to have to kick your ass.
No. Inside you're thinking that as a dad, but yeah. you can't say that out loud, especially in this day and time. But
you can. You just get looks.
You get looks,
and that's another reason why I like doing this. I keep on saying that we have the 5 minutes, and I just keep on for the YouTubes. Yeah, but in all reality, if you go to like most people that are listening to this. And I did crunch the numbers and everything. There's a lot of people that watch the YouTube channel, but there's also a lot of people that just more or less rather just listen. That's what we're going for.
And that's fine, which is why we branched out to those other platforms like Spotify and the Apple Podcast.
I still couldn't get the Google Play to work for me. Because you had to have an email address, and I put in the email address, and it still didn't work. I had to do a little bit.
And let's be honest, at this point, it's the 21st century, and we're all adults. If you don't have an Apple device,
or just Spotify,
or even just Spotify, you're kind of doing something wrong.
That's the thing. Most podcasts are going to either Spotify or Apple.
Yeah, and
Google Play and the other ones are not even trying.
They're not, and I think it's because they know that they're so far out of the game that it's not even funny at this point. I know that there's a couple of dedicated podcast platforms out there, but the bigger ones, the Spotify.
Well, there's more I
Apple.
didn't even know about, like the Google Play.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Heart Radio.
Yeah, iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah, they. I think Pandora. No, Pandora doesn't have a podcast service. Not yet, but. And I'm sure that they will at some point, but it's not going to be, anything of noteworthy mention.
No.
But, for me, what I want to get out of the show, what I want to see, what I want to see this product that we've created, that you created, that I've come on board with. I want to see it blossom. I mean, I would like to see us hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. I would like to see us hit, over 100 followers on Apple.
Hell, we're almost to 50 subscribers.
Yeah, and see,
And I'm from okay, and I'm not gonna lie. On a weekly basis, I question myself about this.
yeah,
I mean, and I'm not like questioning, myself in a very bad way. I'm questioning about doing this, and then I listened to Maria's freaking wonderful help.
yeah,
And I mean, legitimately, her coming on and just doing comments or just messaging us personally through the Angry Me Production Facebook page. I'm like, oh my god, I forget that people actually listen to this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's nice to it's even when put us in retrospect of Joe Rogan. Not that I'm ever gonna top him, or we are gonna ever top him, because he started it out and he's the groundwork. But it wasn't until him actually going to do one of his comedy specials and him saying, well, I mentioned this on the podcast, people like blared off, yeah, we watched that. It's so much gratifying. I could do this for free for the rest of my life after just something like that. And
yeah. I mean, because at a certain point, you kind of have to step into that mindset of just a pure entertainer, where we give people an outlet to just kind of escape their routines. It's like, yeah, we'll take 30 to 45 minutes and sometimes a little bit over an hour to sit here.
4. My top is 4.
Yeah, but you split that into 3 episodes, so that's not fair. But
I had to edit those episodes, you dick.
hey, you're the one that let me keep going. But
No, the only other person that's a little bit, and one of these days I gotta have it back on, is Bill. Bill is really great. We did an episode of all the hotels he goes out to.
yeah,
Because he goes to the haunted ones, like the one from the Stan. What was that called? The Stanley.
yeah,
He went there and he had like a ghost, and we show the photos and everything on YouTube.
yeah. And like we've got that Texas gubernatorial candidate.
Kyle, it's on my phone. Kyle Schuyler, I think. Or we're gonna have him on next
Yeah,
week.
but we're gonna have a gubernatorial candidate on our show next week, and
Yeah, we're hitting the big leagues.
yeah, I mean, we want to try to stay away from politics as much as we can, even though it just seems to infiltrate itself, especially into the sports show that you graciously let me host. And
Yeah, that's all you on that one, because
Yeah.
I could care less about sports, but I seem like I know what I'm talking about.
as long as they don't pay too much attention to the man
Oh,
behind
yeah.
the curtain, they're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But all that aside, I mean, and it's not going to be one of these situations where we're going to hand him softball questions. We're not going to tee up anything for this guy at all. I mean, we're going to ask as hard of a question as we could as you and I could come up with, and it's but we want to set that tone. We want to find because because his opposition. The opposition is going to be like, okay, he's on this show. Let's hear what he's got to say. And at some point, they're going to use whatever answers he gives on our show as a fodder for debates or something that they're going to mention on the campaign trails. So, and I'm like, cool, because me, while I don't 100% agree with the job that Governor Abbott's done in the office up to this point, I mean, I'm, as of right now at least, I'm on the Chad Prather train.
Oh yeah, I'm totally on that right now.
So, and it would be cool to have, we may not get somebody like him on the show. Definitely wouldn't be able to get somebody like Governor Abbott on the show. But even though he is from this area, and that would kind of be a shout out to some hometown people, but hey, I digress. Um, we're branching out into that area, and to me, I'm like, that's cool because that kind of that not that the show needed it, but like kind of mentally in the back of our heads, it's like it lends our show kind of an air of validity,
Yeah.
legitimacy, and it's like, okay, so we're going to start getting these people on, and the more that we get these people on, the more that the people that follow those individuals, they're going to be like, oh, they just want to consume as much content as possible.
Yeah.
Or in the case of politics, if we have people that are running for different offices come in and talk to us, then at that point, even their opposition is going to get in there. And they may go back and they'll be like, well, what kind of a show is this? And they're going to go back and listen to some of these other episodes. And I don't want to sound like we're tooting our own horns here, but dude, I listen to the shows. And I go back and I listen to what we say. I listen to my delivery. I listen to your delivery because I'm constantly critiquing myself. And it was, I had at one point hated the sound of my own voice. Absolutely hated it.
I still sound. I even told this one of my high school friends that I met up at the Comic-Con, and it literally I told her, I was like, why is it that I sound like my voice is coming out from my nose?
Yeah, we had discussed that.
Yeah.
On I think it was a couple of weeks ago we talked about
Yeah,
it.
because that's when I actually talked to her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But because if you watch the shows or listen to the shows where I first started coming in, I must have said the phrase probably a couple hundred times during the course of a 30, 45-minute episode.
There was a joke that I did that I literally said, like, yeah. You could have had a drinking game, and probably within the first 10, 20 minutes, you'd been, like, blackout drunk. If you took a shot every time I said yeah.
Yes, at that point, every time I said the phrase, depending on what you're drinking, you get pretty trashed. It's almost like that drinking game with Lord of the Rings. Every time Frodo and Sam looked at each other like they're about to jump each other's bones, you take a shot, you're going to be hammered halfway through the first movie, See, there it is again. But,
yeah.
It...
Damn it. Right? See, I'm getting back into my own fucking thing. Yeah. Oh, dang it.
That is awesome. But I would love to see us be able to get monetized on things like YouTube, and we actually start generating revenue from our different platforms, via streams, subscriptions, likes, comments, and things of that nature. Based on how those logarithms work.
That's the goal, but it's not the goal to actually make money off it. It's to make it a living.
Yeah, it's because initially the money that we do that we would hopefully generate from the show would go back into the production value. So we get better cameras, we get better lighting, we can find we actually rent out a studio.
Better programming also.
Better programming, just make it a better experience for the listener.
I totally forgot. One of these days or one of these weekends when we probably around August.
Yeah.
DB said they would. We could go on the show.
Really?
Well, not actually be on the show, but go to the studio and check it out.
That actually.
They actually it's not just because me and you or anything like that. It's an open invitation to all the drinking bros.
Oh wow, okay.
It's one reason why I love that show. It's because when I went to their show down in Austin,
mm-hmm.
when they did it at the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Yeah.
And every one of them was like, because I talked to Ross and I was like, yeah, I have a podcast and my co-host really loves doing it. Finally found someone that melded and everything like that with me. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he did that little shy little, all he wants to do is talk about his podcast. I was like, and it was basically because of them that I wanted to make this.
Yeah.
Because I listened to Rogan, I listened to Time Suck with Dan Cummings. I listened to a lot of them, and it was basically the thing. It's like once I started listening to Drinking Bros, it was really just a bunch of people just talking, and
Yeah.
they made their own community, and it makes it feel that if you have something like this, and I hate to say the word platform, but if you have a platform and you're able to bring in people, you can create something to the point to where everybody's helping each other out.
Yeah,
And
it's a
that's
small community, and depending on the reach
and that's
of
really
your
just the
production,
goal of this.
yeah, and that is to and that's to create a community within a community, and you'll it's like as veterans, you know, we've got that infrastructure that kind of comes with it, you know, whether it be through the American Legion or the VFW or the DAV. You know, we've got those people in place because we've got friends and we've got associates that are in those associations. Like for me, it's the American Legion. You know, I'm in there with Mike Kurtz, and you know,
Even he loved to do this show.
and yeah, and because dude, I'm telling you,
Every person I've brought
when
on
we
the
were at
show,
that barbecue competition,
yeah,
it watching, you know, when I was sitting there and I was judging the brisket, and he was sitting behind the mic with you. Dude, he was like a little kid.
yeah,
And you could genuinely tell that he was having an absolute blast doing it. And when you had him come on, and you actually shot an episode with him, you could tell that he enjoyed himself. And I want to have that kind of a, like, you know, I want to have that type of community within the show. People that listen to it, people that actively get engaged through the comment sections or whatever. If they're here in the area or if they're passing through, yeah, you know, I want to be able to offer them a place where they can come, sit down, we can have a couple of drinks, we can, you know, we can shoot the shit, and we can just talk about what's relevant at the time. And, you know, or we can just, you know, yeah, let's just shoot a what the hell episode, and why don't you just sit behind that golden microphone over there and just be a part of the process.
yeah.
And it gives them that opportunity. You know, it's like, I'm hesitant about it, but my 12-year-old wants to be on the show.
I told you can be on.
Oh yeah, but I'm like, oh man, you know, there are forces at work there that
Well, it's like what I wanted to do, and I gotta do that this weekend is I gotta talk to Jeanette because Jeanette probably will probably have a little bit better info on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is when we do it because it's like $75 a day
Yeah.
for going up to the con. I can see if I can get her to talk to the person that's in charge and see if we can just do like a 3-hour thing or a 4-hour thing or whatever. And if we get interviews with the people that are there, that are actually doing like the signings and stuff like that, that'd be cool. But
that would be cool. Yeah.
but I would just sit there and my plan, and I was going to mention with you, so we would just do it right here. Is the only thing I could think of is we would have to get another tripod and another one of those things. Is get your phone and set it up for the Anchor Me Production Facebook page. We'll do it live there,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll record with mine.
Yeah. I mean, we can do that. That's fine. Yeah, because that way, at least at that point, we've got something that we can upload.
Yeah.
But,
so because for the people that actually listen to us live,
Right.
or not live, but on the cast.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, YouTube also offers a live, because you know,
We would have to get that thing up. I wish I could get that thing up.
yeah,
But the thing with that though is I still need to get a recording.
yeah.
It doesn't record if you do the YouTube. Well,
You're not
think
able to
it's
save it
saved.
as a file onto your physical hard drive, but it saves it to the site, to their servers. But all that aside, you know, ultimately, I want us to get to a place to where, you know, not only do we have merchandise that we can offer, but merchandise that actually sells.
yeah.
You know, and we can offer, you know, we can have events that we host.
Oh yeah.
You know, like something, and I'm not looking, and it sounds like a total clout move, but I'm talking about things like, if like say the city is doing an event, or if there's a group here in town that's doing an event, they come to us and say, hey, is this something that you guys would be interested in? Be like, yeah, absolutely. How much is it going to cost for us to set up a booth?
Well,
Or whatever?
the way I was thinking, honestly, because I actually thought about that. I was thinking more or less like a band. How they got it was more or less to pep me up to start doing stuff like this,
Yeah.
to do live shows and everything, because it's fun and it's enjoyable. And I was wondering if we would actually be able to pull it off to actually people actually like doing it and like to hear us talk and go to something like that.
You kind of like Free Beer and Hot Wings. They do their live shows every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Drinking Bros.
Yeah, or
Bros
Drinking
does
Bros.
those
Yeah, do
all the
live
time.
shows. But God, I haven't thought about Free Beer and Hot Wings in a while.
Yeah, me
Usually it's
neither,
because I'm
'cause-
not up early enough in the morning right now to listen to them.
Yeah. Well, I liked listening to them, but it got to the point where I found the podcast world and I started listening to that. I just got
Yeah.
tired of, which is sad, is I got tired of commercials, and I have to hear commercials on most of the podcasts because they do it in between.
Yeah.
Which we only have one that's begin with.
Yeah, I mean, if we get sponsors, that would be great.
Technically, we do have. at
Well,
least
and I'm
one.
saying multiple. Like
Yeah.
if we get Black Rifle, or if we get
Right now, Ghostbed. Ghostbed's one of the big ones that
Yeah.
do those, and Raycon. But we
You know,
we
it-
legitimately have to get what do you call it? Our numbers up.
yeah,
I'm not worried about that now because it's one of those things. It's that hubris of wanting it really fast, and then you just think about it. It's like, well,
it's like a pizza roll. It always turns
I was
out
gonna
better
go
in
with
the oven.
wine.
Well, no, I mean, for the people that well, wine, yes, it ages and gets better, quote unquote, whatever, blah blah blah,
Or whiskey.
or whiskey, definitely whiskey.
Definitely whiskey.
But if like, okay, so if you try to cook a pizza roll in the damn microwave, all it is just a miniature hot pocket. It's gonna be hot on the outside and frozen solid on the inside, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna be all soggy. Whereas
You know
if
what's really sad? I really like the hot pot, the little the pizza bites in the microwave than I do in an oven. It's soggy. It's not
it gets
crunchy.
soggy in the microwave.
I like it soggy.
I like it crunchy, man. I really do. It's like my girlfriend and her sister absolutely hate the word moist. Me?
What is with that? There's a lot of women that hate the word moist.
There are dudes out there that hate that word. Like,
What the hell is
Yeah.
up with that?
um,
I'm like, oh, this is kind of moist. What'd you just say to me?
they're like,
Dude,
"Ugh,"
seriously?
they said, "Ugh," but to me, no, dude. Hot Pockets, pizza rolls. If the breading is soggy or moist, dude, I just can't do it. That's like I don't eat cake. It's a texture thing, right? I absolutely do not like cake.
What kind of horrible monster are you?
Um,
One apparently that doesn't like cake.
I can look myself in the mirror and go to sleep just fine at night.
I can too, but I have to throw up afterwards.
Not so much. I'm a pie guy.
I like pie too.
Yeah, I mean, the only cakes that I'll branch out, cheesecake, because it's technically not a cake, it's a pie, but they call it a cake for some ungodly reason. I think
It's a
that's
New
some-
York thing.
Yeah, it's some
It's a
lazy
Yankee.
New Yorker going, you know what, this looks like a good cake.
That just reminds I don't know if I said that. No, I haven't said it in the cast. Because one of the guys that we were doing the ruck with a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he was like, I bet it's because you damn Yankees, huh? I was like, that's the reason why I fucking hate you. Through this whole thing, I was trying to figure it out and everything like that. Now you just pinpointed how much I fucking hate you. He was like, dude, that's kind of harsh. I was
Oh,
like,
you talking about that tall guy? He was from Michigan.
No, there's a couple of people from Boston.
Oh,
Adam is from Boston. He wasn't the one that said it. It was
okay.
some other guy. But most of them are from, I think, Maryland.
Oh yeah, see, Maryland's a different breed. Yeah, they're a different breed. But you know,
One of them's a cop. He was talking about how horrible. Because we were talking about this off the show about
Yeah.
Washington right now
Yeah.
is going to where even if you suspect
probable cause is
Probable
not a
cause,
thing in
yeah.
Washington State. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's a that is a discussion for a whole other set of whole new set of minutes.
Well, it's one of those things that once you start realizing a lot of stuff, and that's the reason why I venture out and other podcasts and everything, listen to those.
Yeah.
And I'll give credit to the podcast. It was like, hey, I heard this from here.
Yeah.
Or hey, I heard this from there. It's because one, it's a shout out to them that got me interested in this.
Yeah, plus two, we can't be pegged with being unoriginal bitches, yeah.
Yeah, that too.
But
It's
but getting
also,
back to the whole cake thing,
you want to get back to the cake thing, really?
the only other cake that'll lead is tiramisu,
What the fuck is Oh, the Italian one?
the Italian coffee
Yeah, okay.
cake. Yeah, you know, but that's just because coffee, right? If we got Evan Hafer to grind up some of his espresso blend for the sole purpose of making a tiramisu,
You know, you could do that your fucking self. I could do that.
I get that. But if he were to market that, be like Black Rifle Coffee presents tiramisu, you know.
I thought they did do that.
No. They don't
Well,
have
they do
anybody
the
that does
drinks. They don't
baking.
do.
They do the drinks,
They
yes.
don't do food. Because well, I know John Dudley does a couple of recipes with their coffee on top of the meat that he's killed.
Yeah, so I mean, but he could market it like not tiramisu, but like Terima Freedom or something like that, or you know, he could just do something with it. But
You know what? Idea. We could do that ourselves. All we have to do is get the espresso one. Everybody forgets that I'm actually a chef. All I have to do is pull up the recipe, and it's not that bad.
Yeah. Anyways, but I don't like cake. I just don't. I just don't.
Because you're a fucking freak of nature.
Yeah, well, my 12-year-old's inherited my my dislike of cake.
God, I hate you people. How can you not like cake? Cupcakes. You can't stand cupcakes? What kind of
I don't even eat,
creature
dude.
from-
I don't even.
What depths from hell did I pull you from?
I don't
That's
even
what I want to know.
dude. I don't even fuck with muffins, dude.
I bet you fucking mess with muffins.
Hey, no. Look, first off, that's a slippery slope, and I'm not going to allow you to paint me into a gotcha corner. So fuck you and the horse that you rode in on, sir. Thou was can fornicate thyself and thy steed that that you rode in on. But it I don't know, man. It's just like I said, it's a texture thing. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'd have to have. I was like onions. I have to have my onions minced.
Minced? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. You know, I mean,
I can't have the chunks or the slivers.
I mean, me, if I have the choice, like if I go out and like go to Whataburger, you know, because that is the official hamburger of the state of Texas. Fuck
Even
you,
though
In-N-Out.
Chicago bought it.
Even though Chicago bought it. You remember when J.J. Watt was here and he was playing for the Texans? He went on Twitter the morning that Whataburger was sold to that Chicago bank. He wanted to start a GoFundMe to have the state of Texas buy Whataburger back. And like,
Seen that.
even though he plays for Arizona now, I will forever respect him because of that. I'm like, the dude gets it.
Yeah.
You know, and up until just this past week, I had never been to an HEB. Right? So now I've got.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So thanks to my girlfriend. Shout out to Mindy. I now have that all encompassing, you know, Texas trifecta. You know, where it's Whataburger, HEB, and
It's
buckets.
only South Texas that it's HEB.
Yeah, I know, but dude, I'm telling you,
And no, I've been down to Austin, and me and my brother went down to HEB.
is that not a superior grocery store though?
It's nice.
I absolutely like it. I mean, I'm just like, holy crap! They have almost everything, and it's you know it's and it's laid out in such a way that it's not like you have to go 7,000 different corners for one recipe kind of a thing. It's got like this kind of natural flow of traffic
Yeah.
to it, but
Because they also do gas stations and everything too.
yeah, I mean, you
Have
see
you
more and
seen?
more gas stations.
There's
getting
one
into
in
it.
Austin that's 2 stories.
No, I have not. But if I have my choice to go into gas stations, I'm going to go to Buc-ee's.
Fuck yeah.
But we don't have Buc-ee's here. And if you don't know what a Buc-ee's is, look it up.
Well, Tennessee will figure it out.
Oh my God, dude, I am pissed about that. I am pissed about that. I want to get Mr. Bucky in a room, and what the fuck, dude? You know?
Well, I
Like,
actually
not only is Tennessee getting one, but they're now going to have the largest in the country.
it's
We're
too
talking
easy.
about 75,000 square feet.
That is huge. That was enormous. But I went down a rabbit hole. There's a guy on YouTube that all he does, he's a Canadian, and all he does, he goes down to like truck stops, like big truck stops.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like one on Route 66. It's supposed to be the biggest truck stop ever. And
Right.
he critiques it, and he came down to the Buc-ee's. He's like, they know what they're doing.
Exactly. You know, okay, so like they've got all the food and shit over on one side, then they've got all the merchandise.
No, they have the food in the middle.
Well,
They have
okay,
the food
so
in
I'm
the
talking
middle.
like the beaver nuggets, the chips, the dried fruits, the candies. They do it all on one side.
Well,
And then you got your food in the middle.
That's the cash register side usually.
Yeah, but then they got the food in the middle where they do the fudge, the candies,
Mhm.
the
brisket.
jerky, the briskets, yeah. And then on the other side of it, they've got all the merchandise.
Yeah.
You know, like you've
And
got
you
your
can eat off the floor in the bathroom.
Oh my God,
easily.
they've got this nice little man that stands. Okay, so when I drive to Houston, there's
It's
one
like that was one of those classy hotels.
right where they get free
restaurants.
bubble gum, right? Yeah. So, but like there's a Buc-ee's in Madisonville, just south of Dallas. After you leave Corsicana, and you know, anyway, so it's. Go ahead, please. Go right on
when
ahead.
you said when I said the classy hotel, I just remember that. Oh God, what was it? It was Samuel L. Jackson and Charlie Sheen. Not Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez. They're doing a spoof of Loaded Weapon.
Yeah, loaded weapon.
And he handed he was in the restroom, and he handed the blind guy like $5. You saw nothing.
And they looked at each other at the end of the movie, and they're like, "Sequel." My favorite one of the scenes in that movie that I remembered the most was when Emilio Estevez is in the gas station, and he's reading at Guns and Ammo, and all the fucking subscription
Pamphlets.
flyers and shit falling out, and he's covered in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, that's
Not a lie.
they're out of line, but they're not wrong. You know.
I know.
But you know, anyway, so they've got this Buc-ee's in Madisonville, and there's this one Hispanic dude that stands in the men's room, and he's just like he's like the waiter. He's like the busboy at a Chinese buffet restaurant, right? You know, it's like your glass of water is never empty at a Chinese restaurant, right? Especially if their
Yeah.
busboy's doing what they're supposed to be doing. You turn to look at somebody, and then you look back, and your glass is full.
Yeah.
And the dude's like a Jedi. He's over there, back at his spot, 3/4 of the way on the other side of the restaurant, and he's not out of breath. It's like he never moved. But somehow, the water in your glass keeps reproducing itself. And I'm just like, this dude was on point. So, I went down, I was driving down there, and I had to crap. I mean, there's just no way around it. So I stopped, I went in there, and I am blowing it up, dude. I mean, absolutely devastating the landscape in there. It's like
You have to check the toilet to make sure it doesn't have a gun and has a suicide note also.
Dude, I halfway expected to walk out of the stall and have people doing the gas, gas, gas hand and arm signal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this dude, I walk out and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, I am. You might want to give it a couple minutes before you go in there, though." And he goes, "Okay." And he stands right over there, dude. And I'm just like the dude in the next stall. I mean, like, you know when you fart when you're sitting on the toilet, it's just really loud because it just echoes. Like, the dude over there, like the stall next to me, he's like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah, boy." Right? And I'm just like, I'm just owning it because at that point, I'm never going to see any of these people again. So you might as well. I'm just like, "Yep." Boom, you know? And I mean, he's just like, "What the fuck?" You know, and then I walk out and that dude.
It's like that robot chicken scene of Rumpelstiltskin eating shit, and he just tears it up, and it looks like the aftermath of opening a portal to hell.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's almost like the opening scene of the Terminator movies. You know, you see that endoskeleton foot crunching that skull. There's fire everywhere, and there's bodies and corpses, and you're just like, yeah, I caused that. I halfway expect to walk out of that bathroom and have a SWAT team from Interpol arresting me for crimes against humanity, and I'm being like an overnight red eye flight to The Hague to be tried for war crimes. But it's like, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, these facilities, they're great. And what I found funny is that down like around Angleton, Lake Jackson, where Buc-ee's started, they're all tiny.
Yeah.
There's one in Pearland, I think it is, that's a pretty decent size. It's next to the outlet mall, but they're all tiny. They're like actual gas stations, but they've got that same Buc-ee's feel to them. You got that nice ceramic tile everywhere. And they've got that organizational, setup. But I'm like, man, that's cool. But we went from going from a wish list for the show to now we're talking about Texas institutions, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
keep on going with it. I mean,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
like
So
we're
when I took my boys down there last week,
yeah.
got to stop at Buc-ee's, right? One for gas because Madisonville is like
And
just
two, you have to open a portal to hell and try to kill people.
well, because their bladders are obviously smaller than mine, so they've got to, I'm like, hey, all right, we're gonna stop, get gas, we're gonna go in, use the restroom, and I'm like, okay, we are going to get snacks, right? Just one thing each. And my son Colin, my 12-year-old, loves the jerky, right? He's a man after my own heart. He is definitely
have you tried
a
the jerky
carnivore.
place over here?
I've tried a few of them out here.
No, the one on over in Old Jacksboro Highway. Keller's beef jerky or something like that.
I think so, but anyway,
They're pretty good.
Yeah, but Buc-ee's jerky is on point though, right?
Well,
Now, hear me out.
depending on what kind of jerky actually do you like? Because the jerky over here, it's more moist and
Yeah, it's that ground up, pressed. No, these are the strips, right? Where it's the actual strips of meat.
and it's more dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See,
So-
I can't stand that because half the time it feels like when I chew it in my mouth, I have to suck on it. This is probably gonna go way off bases on this.
I was already waiting for it to go gay. I really was. Yeah.
You have to suck on the meat for a little while. Just to get the juices flowing and everything, and half the
Oh.
time it spikes into your cheek.
Keep it classy, San Diego. Oh my god.
And it stabs you. I'm not done yet. And it stabs you in your cheek and your gums, and it makes you feel like that you basically brush your mouth out with like a brittle pad. It was that kind of harsh, metallic. I don't like that.
For those of you listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and cannot see me because you're not watching us on YouTube, I have got my forehead in my hand and I am just like, my eyes are closed. I'm not even making eye contact with David right now.
Even I have to look away on that one. That was
Jesus.
if we make eye contact, we are gonna end up having.
I'm looking at the live stream of my Red Sox beating the Yankees right now. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
that's where. Don't look up. Just don't do it. Just don't do
Good God.
it.
Anyways, they've got the pre-bag stuff where it's like it's a relatively decent price. $16 for like a 1 pound bag or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the stuff that's under the glass behind the counter that they make there, that stuff's $25 a pound, right? And the strips are like, I don't know, like a foot long. And so they'll let you try little samples, and they had one that was like cherry and maple, right? And I'm like, okay, but dude, it was sticky, and it had like a real sweet taste to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not digging that at all. And she goes, okay. So I looked at my son. I was like, pick out what you want. And so he goes, well, okay. So he got the Hill Country mild, which was really good. And then there was the teriyaki, because you got to get the teriyaki. Teriyaki's pretty much a staple anymore.
I'm over teriyaki beef jerky.
Every once in a while, though, you got to get it, right? Anyways,
Every blue moon.
Yeah, every blue moon. But I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at, and the lady behind the counter, she's looking at me, and I'm like, well, let's just go half a pound on each, because I'm not spending $50 on beef jerky. It's just not happening. It's not, right? So she gets a half pound of this, half pound of that. So I'm walking out. I look at my kid, and I'm like, I am not buying you jerky for the rest of the fucking week. He's like, what? I was like, dude, I'm about to spend $25 on a pound of beef jerky. No.
No, that's how much it is up here.
Well, yeah, I mean, but just to me, that is what's inherently wrong with this country, is the price of beef jerky. The price of lumber, the price of beef, and the price of beef jerky. It's like,
I
are
can
you
see you on
kidding
that
me?
one. I can actually see it right now. Even the price of gas is almost getting to $3 over in this area.
It's like I saw, it was a Reddit post, or as a meme. I think you posted it in our group chat. It was like, I've got an F-15. It's got X amount of hours on it. It's worth this. Open to trades. Don't lowball me. I know what I have, but willing to accept offers for X amount of lumber. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. But it's just like, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm about to swipe my debit card for this jerky, and I'm like sitting there going, I could probably get an F-15 for this. But and so. But yeah, so there's Buc-ee's, there's H-E-B, and there's Whataburger, and
what's really funny is we went, me and my friend Candy, she wanted to do, because it was like her 5-year mark for being, or 10-year mark for being in Texas.
mm-hmm.
So she wanted to do the whole Texas thing and everything like that. She's like, we should go to Texas Roadhouse. I was like, Texas Roadhouse isn't a Texas thing. She's like, yeah, it is. I was like, no.
That's like Outback Steakhouse is not an Australian thing.
Illinois.
Yeah. There's a Christian group, the Newsboys.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Australia. And they say that every time they go home to do an Australian tour, they always go to Outback Steakhouse, because they know that they're going to get a good American steak there. And it's funny, because you're just like, oh, wow. He goes, Outback Steakhouse is so Australian that they out-Australian Australians.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because it's like, you go to Oklahoma, and they're in a lot of places, Oklahoma's like, yeah, we're Oklahomans, but they try to out-Texas Texas, and it's so like, it's almost like they look at a caricature of, and JD Martinez hits a solo home run in the top of the 8th, and it's now 4-0 Red Sox.
This isn't Nerd Sports. I have to keep on.
I know it's not Nerd Sports, but people that listen to our shows, they're going to look at, and then they're going to listen to the Psychos and Sociopaths, and they're going to get updates for this particular game on that episode too. But okay, so. But it's almost like they take a character or a caricature. I know I'm not saying that right. Whatever, don't at me. And they say, okay,
You know how many times I fuck up words?
But it's me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to be the actual talkative one and good
Right.
speech.
And I know that we're going to catch hell if we ever start getting people from Oklahoma that are proud of their Oklahoma heritage. But, Oklahoma license plates used to say Oklahoma is okay. You know why that is, right?
Nope, go ahead.
It's because they're not smart enough to spell mediocre.
I still remember the story my dad tells of when my mom was 9 months pregnant. They had to go to Fort Sill for something, and my mom thought she was having contractions. He moved her to the car really fast and gunned it all the way down to Texas as fast as he could because he didn't want his son to be born on Oklahoma soil.
Yeah, it was funny too, because I was born in San Diego.
I don't
And
judge you.
It wasn't my fault though. My dad said he tried to get leave to come home so that way I could be born here, but the Navy had other plans. But
I'm just glad my birth certificate says Texas.
I could do that, but then it wouldn't be right. Anyways, so in addition to my love for Ron Burgundy, that's why I end our shows with "Keep It Classy, San Diego," because it's kind of like a shout out. But anyways, I'm not claiming California by any stretch of the imagination because I think the land of fruit and nuts needs to fall off at the San Andreas, and we could be good.
We need the Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Lex
Lex
Luthor,
Luthor.
where the hell are you now?
He had a good point.
The one thing they're not making anymore, land.
Land.
But I love how they kind of referenced that a little bit in Superman Returns. That was great.
Yeah.
What's the one thing my dad always used to say to me? Get out. No.
But yeah.
But
No.
it and my brain just went completely. My brain just dropped.
I
out
think
of
you were
gear.
talking about beef jerky. I've flown in and out of that.
Holy
no,
shit.
no, I almost had
Being
it.
born in California versus Texas,
Yeah.
And we talked about it when you first interviewed me about, going to basic and stuff. And it was like my recruiter, we're on our way to Oklahoma City to the MEP station there, and he's like, who wants to piss on Oklahoma? And you got a bunch of Texas kids in the car. And we're like, fuck yeah, let's do that. And then it was like it was like a sign of providence from God on high. It was like mile marker 101. And where did I end up? The 101st Airborne.
There.
So, but yeah, Oklahoma would be a great place to live if it wasn't for the fact that it's in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, someone said he would try to use his philosophy against me. He was like, "You do realize Oklahoma was part of Texas when it first formed?" I was like, "Yeah, but you still cut off cancer."
Oh, God. They cut it off and made it a huge Indian reservation. And we ended up stealing more land back from the Indians and made a state out
We
of
didn't
it.
even steal it. We gave it to other people.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too.
Because they had that big Oklahoma land drive.
Yeah, the Sooners, the Oklahoma Sooners, OU, whatever, Boomer Sooner. Your college is named after a bunch of land thieves.
Yeah.
You bring that up, and they're like, well, that's not right. It's worth a Google.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman even made a movie about it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no.
But
That was far away, wasn't it?
far and away, yeah.
Far and away.
And yes, and I know I'm inviting this here, but on the whole, that was a great movie.
I watched it. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're not gonna. Okay, all right.
no.
I'll respect you for that. All right, cool.
No, I actually liked that movie.
Okay, so you're not gonna on the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so yeah.
Just remember, I'm better than you. Not by much. Like a small strand of hair, and I'm pretty much on the down pollen of it.
So you're saying by the tip of a cunt hair?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Which I've learned is an actual technical term.
Is it really?
Yeah. A cunt hair is an actual unit of measurement.
Really? Where?
I think when Yeah, now I'm not
Now
gonna
we
quote
have
it.
to do it. We have to Google it.
And we will end the show on that. But I love how our shows just consistently go off into the wild blue yonder.
In the world of grinding machines, a cut hair is measured by microns, usually like 5 microns. When a part comes out of the grinder and someone said, "Burn it up, bump it up a cunt hair," that means around 5 microns, or about. Oh wow! So they do it in machine shop.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is, and it's two thousandths of an inch. Wow.
It's like you hear these old timers say the phrase, when you ask them, "Oh, hey, you guys doing?" "Oh, fair to middling." It's a
We both learned something today.
it's a cotton grade.
What is it?
Fair to middling is a grade of cotton.
I never heard that one either.
Yeah, you hear these old timers like, "Oh, I'm doing fair to middling." It's a cotton grade.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like when I learned that, I was like, I was today years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as we stay consistent with the show, and as long as we
Well, I
we,
really
we
want.
work.
I really want the psychos and sociopaths. Like I was telling the other person that actually listens to the show, Zach, is Saturday and Sunday are guaranteed that you're going to have. Saturday's going to be psychos and sociopaths, and Sunday is going to be what the hell. If there's an extra bonus episode of what the hell, it's because we actually got somebody on here, and then we were going to have like an actual interview.
Yeah, Mondays or Tuesdays is going to be Nerd
Or
Sports.
or Wednesday, depending. It all depends with that one because the news changes so much on that.
Yeah. It's like we didn't get to our Nerd Sports this week until Wednesday.
And it was a good thing too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that sometimes it works itself out because we didn't get we got that Richard Swanson that day.
Yeah.
Is it Swanson?
I think so. But, point is that, we're going to work as hard as we can to keep the content relevant. We're going to keep it as
Sherman.
entertaining. Richard Sherman, that's right. The video for the doorbell cam.
He pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, the doorbell footage, the Ring camera footage was released. It's kind of damning, but
Remorseful for my actions.
yeah. That's basically, yeah, you caught me. I'm sorry, I fucked up. I want to keep playing football. Thank you. But we're gonna try to keep the entertainment, value where it's at. We're gonna continue to get better, and for our dedicated listeners, our dedicated viewers, we appreciate you. We thank you for the patience, for just the fervent
Listening to us.
Yeah,
just listening to
absolutely.
us. Really.
So shout out to you guys for
And all the people that like accidentally get this, like they clicked on the wrong thing and they just keep on listening. I love y'all guys. I mean, it makes me want to do this more and more.
yeah, and at some point, I want to be mentioned in the same. I want our show to be mentioned in the same group as the Mike Rose. The way I heard it, the drinking bros, Free Range America or American. I want to hear our show mentioned in the same breath, or at least classified in the same group. Because to me, I mean, with all the respect in the world to those guys that put in the time for those shows, we got Joe Rogan up here, and then we've
Which
got.
you're not going to touch.
Yeah, we're not going to touch Joe Rogan at all. But I want to be that's the goal. Obviously, I mean that's the stars right there. But we may miss the stars, but we're going to land somewhere on the moon, and that's where I kind of want our show to go, to where it's.
You want to have that competitive outlook and everything, but in all reality, you set realistic dreams.
Yeah,
And
being real is one thing, and I completely understand that and wholeheartedly agree with it. But it's one of those things where
they already have the notoriety, and we understand that.
yeah, but I want to see this show just explode. I want to see it take off. I want to see it. What's the word I'm looking for? Thrive.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a completely obtainable goal. We just have to, we have to be able to upgrade our equipment for sure. And
And it just takes time.
it does. It takes time, and really, from the bottom of my heart, a very heartfelt thank you to all of our listeners and all of our followers. Whether you've been here before, you're just coming in, invite more people to listen. And the more people that we get engaged with, the more people that subscribe, the more people that follow, the more people that leave reviews on our podcasts, that's going to help us out in the long run. And then by default and by proxy, really, that's going to help you, the listener, out, because that's going to enable us to be able to bring you a better product, whether it's through feedback or through monetization of the channel on YouTube or whatever, through sponsorship dollars from whatever companies that decide to piggyback onto us. That's going to enable us to give you a better product. That's going to enable us to stay relevant, and it's going to enable us to occupy a space in your ear holes for 20, 30, 40 minutes, or sometimes an hour, depending on how long you listen to us or how long we actually, manage to keep the episodes on schedule, kind of a thing. But I know that I'm kind of, I'm speaking for David as well, but just absolutely 100% thank you for everything.
Yeah. And that's the end of this episode. I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And this is What the Hell. Thank you all, definitely, for watching and viewing and listening.
And keep it classy, San Diego.
All right.